Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome back to the daily readings of Srila Prabhupada's books, which has never been so important. It's always important, but we're now going deeper into approaching winter, fall, and now it's getting close to winter. And the virus never takes a holiday. It's spreading even more. And the experts are saying even more than the big gatherings is the small gatherings that are indoor, small gatherings that are, spreading the virus and is now, spiking again like anything. So we're just very fortunate that we have something to do, not just have something to do, that we know about this process of hearing about Krishna and the states of consciousness that it puts us in, give us the capacity to tolerate anything. Not just tolerate, but to be happy under any condition. And this is a great gift. This is the matchless gift that Srila Prabhupada moved into the 26th 2nd Avenue. The matchless gifts. So we should just be very, very grateful. We should be counting our blessings constantly and continuing to relish hearing Srila Prabhupada's teachings in his purport, Bhaktivedanta purports, and these ecstatic pastimes of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was especially fond of the Caitanya-caritämrta, and he glorified it like this. In due course, Mahäprabhu, devastating floods, will inundate the entire universe. If you attempt to survive by swimming in that deluge, then do not neglect to take hold of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and Sri Caitanya-caritämrta. Or, if you cannot hold all three, then release Bhagavad Gita. If necessary, you may also relinquish Srimad Bhagavatam, but under no circumstances release your hold on Sri Caitanya-caritämrta. For if this one book remains, then the flood can do no actual damage, because after it is subsided, the message of Shastra can be revived from Sri Caitanya-caritämrta alone, it being the essence of all Shastra. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jai Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Okay, Sri Chaitanya Mahäprabhu is right in the middle of instructing Srila Rüpa Gosvämi. And we are so fortunate that we are sitting in and listening. Madhya-lila, 19th chapter, Caitanya-caritämrta, beginning with text 183 and 184. According to the devotee, attachment falls within the 5 categories of Shantarati, Dasyarati, Sakyarati, Vatsalyarati, and Madhurarati. These 5 categories arise from devotees' different attachments to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The transcendental mellows derived from devotional service are also of 5 varieties. Purport. Shantarati is described in the Bhakti-rasamrita Sindhu 2:5, 16 through 18 as follows. Manase nirvikalpatvam shama ityabhidiyate. When one is completely free from all doubts and material attachments, he attains the neutral position called Shanta. Vihaya vishayon mukyam nijananda stitir yataha atmanak katyate sotra swabhavak shama ityasau prayak shama pradhananam mamata gandhavarjita padamat mataya krishne jata shanti ratir mata. The Shanti realization of Krishna is in the neutral stage between the conception of impersonalism and personalism. This means that one is not very strongly attached to the personal feature of the Lord. An appreciation of the greatness of the Lord is called Shanta Rati. This is attachment not to the personal feature, but to the impersonal feature. Generally, one in this stage is attached to the Paramatma feature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Ishvarak sarvabhutanam hridyasharjunatishtati brahmayan sarvabhutani yantravrudani mayaya. The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna, and is directing the wanderings of all living entities who are seated as on a machine made of the material energy. Bhagavad Gita 18:61. On the strength of this statement from the Bhagavad Gita, we can understand that in Shantarasa, a devotee sees the Lord's representation everywhere. Dasya Rati is explained in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 2.5.27 thus: Swasmat bhavanti ye nunyas ne nyunas te nugrahaya adhermataha arat yat vatmika tesham pratik pritir itirita tatra sakti kridanyatra priti sangharani yasau. When the Supreme Lord, in his localized aspect, is appreciated, and a great devotee understands his subordinate position, not only does he surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but due to his subordinate position, he wishes to render some service, and thus become favored by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. A devotee in Shantarati is not very much willing to render service to the Lord, but a devotee in Dasyarati voluntarily wants to render service. Due to this attitude, the devotee in Dasyarati realizes the Supreme Personality of Godhead more fully than a devotee in Shantarati. He considers the Lord to be a worshipable object, and this means that his attachment for the Lord increases. Thus, Dasyarati is characterized as bhakti parishanubhavo vidaktir anyatra cha. Bhagavatam 11.2.42. In other words, on the Dasya Rati platform, a devotee is attached to rendering service to the Lord, and he is detached from material activities. Shantirati is neither material nor spiritual, but Dasyarati is actually on the spiritual platform. There is no attachment for material things on the spiritual platform. Vidaktir anyatra cha. A devotee in Dasyarati has no attachment for anything but Krishna's service. Sakyarati is described in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Sakyarati is described in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 2.5.30 as follows: Yes yus tulya mukundasya te sakaya satamataha samyad vishramba rupaisham rati sakyam ihochate. According to the opinion of advanced devotees and learned scholars, a devotee in Sakyarati feels equal to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is a relationship of friendship. Due to having a friendly relationship with the Lord, not only is one freed from material attachment, but one believes in equal dealings with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is called Sakyarati. The Sakyarati devotee is so advanced that he treats the Lord on an equal level and even exchanges joking words with him. Although one is never equal to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Sakyarati devotee feels equal to the Lord, and he does not feel guilty because of this. Usually it is offensive to consider oneself equal to the Lord. The Mayavadis, for example, consider themselves equal to the Lord, but such feelings entail bereavement because they are material. Sakyarati, however, is a feeling experienced in the mind by a pure devotee, and he is eternally related with the Supreme Personality of Godhead in that feeling. Vatsalyarati is described as follows in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 2.5.33. Guravo ye harer asya te puja iti vishrutaha anugraha mayi te sham ratir vatsalyam uchate idam lalanabhavyashish chibuka sparshanadi krit. When a living entity is situated on the platform of Vatsalyarati, he thinks of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his childhood feature. In this feature, the Lord has to be protected by the devotee, and at this time, the devotee takes the position of being worshipped by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. These feelings of parental love are called Vatsalya Rati. When the devotee is situated on this platform, he wants to maintain the Lord like a son. He desires, excuse me. When the devotee is situated on this platform, he wants to maintain the Lord like a son. He desires all good fortune for the Lord. He offers blessings to the Lord, and he touches the Lord on the head. Madhurarati, or attachment in conjugal love, is described as follows. Mito harer mrigakyascha sambogasyadi karanam madhura padaparyaya priyata kyodita ratihi asyam kataksha brurchepa priyavani smitadayaha. Madhurarati, the conjugal relationship experienced between the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the young damsels of Vrajabhumi, continuously exists in 8 kinds of remembrances. This intimate relationship, brought about by conjugal love, produces movements of the eyebrows, glancing, sweet words, and exchanges of joking words. Text 185. The chief transcendental mellows experienced with the Supreme Personality of Godhead are 5. Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, and Madhura. Purport. Shanta Bhakti Rasa is described in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 3.1.4 through 6 as follows. I'll skip the Sanskrit. When Shanta Rati, neutral attraction, exists continuously and is mixed with ecstatic emotion, and when the devotee relishes that neutral position, it is called Shanta Bhakti Rasa. Shanta Bhakti Rasa devotees generally relish the impersonal feature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Since their taste of transcendental bliss is incomplete, it is called agana, or not concentrated. A comparison is made between ordinary milk and concentrated milk. When the same devotee goes beyond the impersonal and tastes the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his original form as Satchidananda Vigraha, his transcendental blissful body, complete in knowledge and eternity, the taste is called concentrated, gana, transcendental bliss. Sometimes the devotees in Shantarasa relish transcendental bliss after meeting the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but this is not comparable to the transcendental bliss relished by the devotees situated in Dasya Rasa. The transcendental mellow in which one renders service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead is Dasya Rasa. Dasya Rasa. Dasya Rasa, or Dasya Bhakti Rasa, is described in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 3.2, 3, and 4 as follows. Atmochitar vibhay vadyai pritir asvadaniyatam nita chetasi bhaktanam priti bhakti rasomataha anugraya yas asya dasat val lalyat vad apyayam dvida vidyate sambrama prito gorava priti ityapi. When according to his desires, the living entity develops love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, this beginning stage of love is called Dasya Bhakti Rasa. Dasya Bhakti Rasa is divided into two categories, called Sambrama Dasya and Gaurava Dasya. In Sambrama Dasya, the devotee renders respectful service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but in the more advanced Gaurava Dasya, the devotee feels that he is receiving protection from the Lord. Sakya Bhakti Rasa is described as follows in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 3.3.3.1. Stai bhavo vidavadyai sakyam atmochitayariha nitas chitte satam pushtim rasak preyan udiryate. According to one's original consciousness, ecstatic emotions may be exhibited as continuously existing in fraternity. When this stage of Krishna consciousness is mature, it is called Preyo Rasa or Sakya Bhakti Rasa. Vatsalya Bhakti Rasa is described in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 3.4.1 as follows. Vibha bhadyais tu vatsalyam stayi pushtim upagata ha esha vatsala namatra prokto bhakti raso buddhahi. When externally existing love of God, when eternally existing love of Godhead transforms into parental love and is mixed with corresponding emotions, that stage of spiritual existence is described by learned devotees as Vatsalya Bhakti Rasa. Excuse me. Madhura Bhakti Rasa is described in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 3.5.1 as follows. Atmochitaya vibhayadhyai pushtim nita satam ridi madurakyo bhaved bhakto raso sao madura vritihi. If, in accordance with one's own natural development in Krishna consciousness, one's attraction leans toward conjugal love within the heart, that is called attachment in conjugal love, or Madhura Rasa. Text 186. Besides the 5 direct mellows, there are 7 indirect mellows, known as laughter, wonder, chivalry, compassion, anger, disaster, and fear. Purport. This verse is found in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 2.5, 116, 187. In addition to the 5 direct mellows, there are 7 indirect mellows known as laughter, wonder, chivalry, compassion, anger, disaster, and fear. Purport. Hasya, adibhuta, vira, karuna, rodra, bhaya, and bibhatsa. The 7 indirect mellows are explained in the 4th part of the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Hasya Bhakti Rasa, laughing devotion, is explained as follows in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 4.1.6. Vakshamanaya vibhavadhyai pushtim hasa ratir gatam hasya bhakti raso nama budaya esha nigadyate. When through devotional service a laughing attachment to Krishna is developed, it is called Hasya Bhakti Rasa by learned scholars. Similarly, Adibhuta Rasa is described in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 4.2.1. Atmochitaya vibhayad Atmochitaya vibhavadhyai swadhyatvam bhakta chetasi sa vismayaratir nitad bhutta bhakti raso bhavet. When one's general attachment is fixed in wonder, it is called Adibhuta Bhakti Rasa. Vira Bhakti Rasa is described as follows. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 4.3.1. Saivotsaha rati stayi vibhavadhyaya nijochita ha aniyamana swadhyatvam vira bhakti raso bhavet yudadana dayadharmaish chaturda vida uchate. When attachment to Krishna mixes with the bellicose tendency, the charitable tendency, or the merciful tendency in the heart of the devotee, such devotion is called Vira Bhakti Rasa. Karuna Bhakti Rasa is described as follows. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 4.4.1. Atmochitaya vibhavadhyaya nita pushtim sitam hridi bhavech choka ritir bhakti raso hi karunabidaha. When one's devotional attitude and attachment for Krishna is mixed with lamentation, it is called Karuna Bhakti Rasa. Similarly, Rodra Bhakti Rasa is described as follows. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 4.5.1. Nita krodareti pushtim vibhavadhyaya nijochitahi Ridi bhakta janasya sao rodra bhakti raso bhavet. When devotion is mixed with anger in the heart of the devotee, the taste is called Rodra Bhakti Rasa. Bhayanaka Bhakti Rasa is described as follows. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 4.6.1. Bhakshamanayar Vibhavadhyay Pushtim Bhaya Ritir Gata Bhayana Kabdido Bhayana Kabdito Bhakti Rasodirayat Udiryate. When devotion is mixed with fear, it is called Bhayanaka Bhakti Rasa. Bibhatsa Bhakti Rasa is described as follows. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 4.7.1. Pushtim Nijabibhabadhyaya Jagupsa Ratur Agata Asau Bhakti Raso Dirayar Bibhatsakya Itiryate. When one's attachment for Krishna develops in an abominable way, and the devotee enjoys it, that is called Bibhatsa Bhakti Rasa. In conclusion, when a pure devotee is situated in any of the 5 principal mellows, Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, or Madhura, and that mellow is mixed with one or more of these 7 indirect bhakti rasas, Hasya, Adbhuta, Vira, Karuna, Raudra, Bhayanaka, or Bibhatsa, the indirect mellows become prominent. 188. The 5 direct transcendental mellows of devotional service. The 5 direct transcendental mellows of devotional service are permanently situated in the heart of the devotee, whereas the 7 indirect emotions appear suddenly under certain conditions and appear more powerful. 189. Examples of Shanta Bhaktas are the 9 Yogendras and the 4 Kumaras. Examples of devotees in Dasya Bhakti are innumerable, for such devotees exist everywhere. Purport. The 9 Yogendras are Kavi, Havi, Antariksha, Prabhupada, Pipalayana, Avirhotra, Dravida, or Drumila, Chamasa, and Karabhajan. The 4 Kumaras are Shanaka, Sananda, Sanatana, and Sanat Kumara. The servant devotees are in Gokula. The servant devotees in Gokula are Raktaka, Chitraka, and Patraka, and so on. In Dwarka, there are servants like Dwaraka, and in the Lord's pastimes in the material world, there are servants like Hanuman. 190. In Vrindavan, examples of devotees in fraternity are Sridama and Sudama. In Dwarka, the Lord's friends are Bhima and Arjuna. In Vrindavan, the devotees in parental love are Mother Yashoda and Father Nanda Maharaj. And in Dwarka, the Lord's parents are Vasudeva and Devaki. There are also other superior persons who are devotees in parental love. 191. The chief devotees in conjugal love are the gopis in Vrindavan, the queens in Dwarka, and the goddesses of fortune in Vaikuntha. These devotees are innumerable. 192. Attachment for Krishna is divided into 2 categories. One is attachment with awe and reverence, and the other is pure attachment without reverence. 193. Pure attachment without reverence is found in Gokula Vrindavan. Attachment in which awe and reverence are prominent is found in the 2 cities Mathura, in Dwarka, and in Vaikuntha. 194. When opulence is very prominent, love of Godhead is somewhat crippled. According to Kevala devotion, however, even though the devotee sees the unlimited potency of Krishna, he considers himself equal to Krishna. 195. On the transcendental platform of neutrality and service, sometimes the opulence of the Lord is a prominent stimulus. But the transcendental mellows of fraternal, parental, and conjugal love are minimized by that opulence. Text 196. When Krishna offered prayers at the lotus feet of his mother and father, Vasudeva and Devaki, they both felt awe, reverence, and fear due to knowledge of his opulences. 197. When Devaki and Vasudeva understood that their two sons, Krishna and Balaram, who had paid obeisances to them, were the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they became fearful and did not embrace them. Purport. This verse, quoted from Srimad Bhagavatam 10:44-51, describes what happened just after the killing of Kamsa by Krishna and Balaram. Vasudeva and Devaki saw their son kill the powerful demon Kamsa, and after this they were immediately released from their shackles. Balaram and Krishna then offered respect to Devaki and Vasudeva. Both the father and the mother wanted to embrace their sons, but they understood that Krishna and Balaram were the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and they therefore hesitated to embrace them. Their parental love for Krishna and Balaram was therefore hampered and decreased by awe and reverence. Text 198. When Krishna manifested his universal form, Arjuna became reverent and fearful, and he begged forgiveness for his past impudence toward Krishna as a friend. 199 and 200. Thinking of you as my friend, I have rashly addressed you, O Krishna, O Yadava, O my friend, not knowing your glories. Please forgive whatever I may have done in madness or in love. I have dishonored you many times, jesting as we relaxed, lay in the same bed, or sat or ate together, sometimes alone and sometimes in front of many friends. O infallible one, please excuse me for all those offenses. Purport. This is a quotation from the Bhagavad Gita, 11:41 and 42. In this verse, Arjuna is addressing Krishna, who is exhibiting his universal form on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Should be these verses. Okay. 201. Although Krishna was joking with Queen Rukmini, she was thinking that he was going to give up her company, and she was therefore shocked. 202. While Krishna was joking with Rukmini in Dwarka, she was full of distress, fear, and lamentation. She had also lost her intelligence. She dropped her hand bangles and the fan she was using to fan the Lord. Her hair became disarrayed, and she fainted and fell suddenly, appearing like a banana tree knocked down by a high wind. Purport. This verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 10:60-24 refers to Krishna speaking to Rukmini in his bedroom. Just to test her sincerity, he began to joke with her, presenting himself as poor, incapable, and unfit to be her lover. Not understanding that he was joking, Rukmini took him seriously and thought that he wanted to leave her company. This misunderstanding made her very unhappy, and her whole body was affected. Her fan and bangles fell to the floor, and she also fell down like a banana tree, knocked down by high winds. Text 203. In the stage of Kevala, unalloyed devotion, a devotee does not consider the unlimited opulence of Krishna, even though he experiences it. He takes seriously only his own relationship with Krishna. Purport. When a devotee reaches the stage of pure, unalloyed devotion, especially in friendship with Krishna, he forgets the Lord's opulences, although he sees them, and he considers himself equal to Krishna. There is no question of actually comparing oneself to Krishna, but because the devotee is so advanced in Krishna consciousness, he is able to behave with Krishna as he would with an ordinary man. Text 204. When Mother Yashoda saw all the universes within Krishna's mouth, she was astonished for the time being. The Lord is worshipped like Indra and other demigods by the followers of the three Vedas, who offer him sacrifices. He is worshipped as impersonal Brahman by saintly persons who understand his greatness through studying the Upanishads, as the Purusha by great philosophers who analytically study the universe, and as the all-pervading Supersoul by great yogis, and as the Supreme Personality of Godhead by devotees. Nevertheless, Mother Yashoda considered the Lord her own son. Purport. This verse is quoted from Srimad Bhagavatam 10.8.45. Those who are spiritually advanced forget Krishna's opulence by the mercy of Yogamaya. For instance, Mother Yashoda considered Krishna an ordinary child. 205. Although Krishna is beyond sense perception and is unmanifest to human beings, he takes up the guise of a human being with a material body. Thus Mother Yashoda thought him to be her son, and she bound Lord Krishna with rope to a wooden mortar as if he were an ordinary child. Purport. This verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 10.9.14 is a reference to Lord Krishna's exhibiting himself like an ordinary child before Mother Yashoda. He was playing like a naughty boy, stealing butter and breaking butter pots. Mother Yashoda became disturbed and wanted to bind the Lord to a mortar used for pounding spices. In other words, she considered the Supreme Personality of Godhead as an ordinary child. 206. When Krishna was defeated by Sridama, he had to carry him on his shoulders. Similarly, Bhadrasena carried Vrishabha, and Pralamba carried Balaram, the son of Rohini. Purport. This verse is from Srimad Bhagavatam 10.18.24. When all the cowherd boys were playing in the forest of Vrindavan, the demon Pralambasura appeared in order to kidnap Krishna and Balaram. The demon Pralambasura appeared in order to... The Asura appeared disguised in the form of a cowherd boy. But Krishna could understand his trick. Krishna therefore divided all the cowherd boys into two parties. One party belonged to Balaram, and the other party belonged to Krishna himself. Ultimately, Krishna was defeated in this play, and according to the wager, the defeated party had to carry the victorious party on their shoulders. Krishna had to carry Sridama on his shoulders, and Bhadrasena had to carry Vrishabha. The demon Pralambasura had to carry Balaram, and when Balaram mounted his shoulders, The demon ran far away. Finally, the demon began to expand his body to a gigantic size, and Balaram understood that he intended to kill him. Balaram immediately struck the demon's head with his strong fist, and the demon fell down dead, as if he were a snake whose head had been smashed. Text 207, 209 to 209. And we'll stop there. Hare Krishna. This nectar is so sweet, powerful, and sweet at the same time. Okay, Hare Krishna. If there's any reflections or discussion or comments, please. That took about 10 seconds to read all that. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare.
First comment is from Brian Phillips.
Bhakta Brian Phillips, Hare Krishna.
He says, Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. Last evening's nectar was amazing. Thank you so much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
Rati Manjari says, Jai Guru Maharaj, take us beyond space and time into the realm of eternal truth.
Rati, I'm just a peon delivering the envelope that's given to us by Prabhupada. We open up the envelope and there is the nectar. Hare Krishna.
Attila?
Huh?
Attila? Is that
Attila. Yeah, Attila. Yeah.
It says, Jai Maharaj, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories for your nectar, Sangha.
Well, Hare Krishna, Attila, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Saloni Sachi Sundari says, Hare Krishna Maharaj, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to the nectar of Caitanya-caritämrta.
Well said.
And question from Shantarupa Devi Dasi.
Hare Krishna, Shantarupa.
She says, Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Is seeing Krishna everywhere also in a personal relationship?
You can see Krishna everywhere in a personal relationship or in an impersonal relationship. The person in an impersonal relationship feels the presence of Krishna everywhere, but he doesn't see the form and doesn't think of the form and doesn't feel like doing anything about it. But when a person is seeing Krishna everywhere in the personal relationship, then he sees the form that he's most attached to, remembers the form. Everything that he sees reminds him of the form of Krishna that he's most attached to. And in a very, very advanced stage, he'll see Krishna face to face in the heart. And he wants to serve. He wants to do something for Krishna. That's the basic difference between the platform of servitude and the further advanced features of bhakti and the impersonal or the shanta. Therefore, our acharyas, most of them, especially Rüpa Gosvämi, they don't consider Shantaras to be in the bhakti stage. They consider, and if you notice in the Sanskrit when we were reading, when the term bhakti came, it came beginning with dasya, but the term bhakti isn't included in the description of Shanta. Because bhakti has to do with service. Bhakti rasa. Pure devotional service.
From Art.
Bhakti Art, Hare Krishna.
He says Hare Krishna.
Well said. Well said, Bhakti Art.
And this is from Sherry Zelinsky.
Sherry Zelinsky.
She says, thank you, Maharaj. Hare Krishna. It is with heavy hearts we are sharing the news of Her Grace Mother Krishna Nandini, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, leaving this world after a painful battle with cancer.
Oh, what's her name again?
Krishna Nandini.
Krishna Nandini left her body. Oh, Krishna. Yes, let us all remember her with love. Hare Krishna, thank you for reminding us. Krishna Nandini.
Rati Manjari just posted this also. She says, Dear Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. Please permit me to share that your god sister, Her Grace Krishna Nandini Devi Dasi, has left her body after a long period of battling cancer. She was a friend and a great inspiration to me and to many. She was surrounded by her family and Srila Prabhupada chanting Hare Krishna.
Very nice.
Please pray for her safe passage to the spiritual world.
This is the reason why devotional service and the association of the Vaishnavas is so special, because the loved ones of a pure devotee know what to do at the time of passing away. And this ensures the success of the devotee's life, successful life, surrounded by loving ones and chanting of the holy name and Srila Prabhupada's voice. It's all auspicious. Cause for celebration. Of course, we feel separation, but we celebrate also simultaneously. These are the inconceivable mellows of devotional service that we're blessed by Chaitanya Mahäprabhu to be able to appreciate to one degree or another. Hare Krishna. Krishna Nandini ki jai.
From Shukla Dasi, must be Sherry Zelinsky, Shukla Dasi. She says, a wonderful preacher of our Guru. And Rati Manjari writes, she was part of the Grihastha Vision team and has moved mountains in the area of interfaith. She was married to her husband, Tariq, a Muslim, and together they raised 10 children. Many of them became initiated Vaishnavas.
What country was she from? Anyway, maybe somebody will answer.
And then this is from, she's from USA.
From America. Yeah, I thought so.
There's a question from Ferenc Attila.
Ferenc Attila? Mm-hmm.
He says, Hare Krishna Maharaj, do I well understand when a devotee starts to practice spontaneous devotional service, is his step from one rasa to another as his devotion gets deeper?
It's possible, but generally speaking, the sthāyi bhava is fixed in the heart. But a person may gradually realize that and may therefore, while in this world, move from one to another. But the sthāyi bhava stays the same. In the spiritual world there are no limitations, and it may be possible to experience more than one, but the sthāyi bhava stays the same in general. But that level of devotional service cannot be imitated. It's not just because we think something or we feel something, that's what we are. That's our original relationship. One has to be pure. One has to be free from material attachment completely to be able to experience that. The attraction to a particular rasa, there may be some. As we read, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to mention the term incidental reading, meaning that when we continually read these books over and over again and over and over again, then gradually there's a natural appreciation that comes from our heart, towards one particular rasa or another. And then we become naturally attached to the devotees who are in that relationship with Krishna in the spiritual world. And we serve inside ourselves spontaneously. But it cannot be imitated. And even if we are beginning to feel things like that, we should not display it openly. That is sahaja, taking it cheaply. We should be very careful about that.
Question from Braj Vallabha.
Haribol Braj.
He says, Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. I am somewhat depressed when I hear topics of CC about chanting and purity, because I seem so far off the goal. How can one stay motivated?
Keep chanting. Don't stop chanting. The chanting is so powerful that it's the only thing that's powerful to purify our hearts completely. But our Prabhupada said that when we're in the material world for such a long time, we become so covered that it's like trying to clean coal with water. But if you keep chanting and don't stop chanting, that is the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya's mercy is unlimited. There's no limit to Lord Chaitanya's mercy. He came to give pure love for Krishna to everyone in the universe, no matter what their position. So the fact is that Lord Chaitanya's mercy flows down to the most fallen. So you can't make the excuse that you're the most fallen, and therefore you can't have Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy, because it is made to flow down to the most fallen. That is inconceivable. We're so fallen, but we are chanting Hare Krishna, and we are actually tasting something very special when we get together like this and hear the Caitanya-caritämrta, or when we hear the kirtan together. We get something special. And everyone can feel it to a certain extent, but when we rise to these levels of devotion where we taste higher and higher feelings, then it's special. It's extra special. So we have no reason to feel depressed under any circumstances, because how many people are there on the planet, and how many people know about this? Just know about it. Just to know about it. Janma karma chame divyam evam yo veti tatvataha chaktudeham punarjama naiti mamiti sojana. Wait, maybe I mixed two verses. Yeah. If you just understand the nature of Krishna's appearance and activities, even if you don't completely understand, if you just know about and accept that Krishna comes with his own, by his own internal potency, he's not covered ever by the material energy. His body doesn't change. There's no difference between his body and his soul. It's eternal, his form. And that he knows everything, and that he can do anything without limitation. When you understand these things and just appreciate them, you're eligible to go back to the spiritual world. How that is beyond our perception at the moment. But that doesn't make it any less true. Just because you can't see something doesn't mean that it's not true.
Brian Phillips says there's hope for us all.
Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Absolutely. And you keep hearing these books, and you'll get everything.
And
the more you come attached to reading these books, the more you'll get everything.
One more comment from Rati about Krishna Nandini Dasi. She was born in an African-American body, and her mother and siblings were among the first black-bodied devotees who got initiated by Srila Prabhupada, among great opposition and misunderstandings in early ISKCON. She had to go through great odds, but she persevered and was able to touch the hearts of many. She got initiated in her early teens on Radhastami.
Very nice, very nice. Thank you very much for those details. You see what it is? When you hear something and you can appreciate, but then when you hear more details and you get to know them more personally, then the feeling deepens. That's the principle. The same principle when we hear about Krishna. The more we hear about Krishna, the more we hear about all these symptoms of loving exchange and tastes of relationship, mellows, loving exchanges, then the more special it becomes, the more attached we become. This is the purpose of hearing about Krishna. It's not to learn some, philosophy so that we can beat somebody over the head with it and convince them of something, but it's actually to relish. And when we do that, then, and talk to others about Krishna, then the hearts of those persons change by the influence of Krishna's association.
Prajbalaba writes, "Keep reading and I will keep hearing."
Thank you very much. Thank you. I will keep reading, no matter what. Ladies and gentlemen, we're 8:15, a little bit past my quota, sitting in the chair. But you'll be happy to know that I finally come to the point where I feel a little bitter each day. I still can't sit completely nicely in the chair, but I couldn't completely nicely even before the surgery. It has to do with the back. It doesn't have to do just with the hips. But they're mixed. It's all mixed together. So I thank you so much, and it's so encouraging to hear these questions and hear, appreciate what happens when we hear and chant, and how we advance in Krishna consciousness, and our feelings for Krishna, our appreciation and our happiness. Sri Caitanya-caritämrta ki jai. Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. We'll see you all tomorrow night, same time, same place, same subject, same bliss. See you tomorrow. Hare Krishna.